Oh, okay, we're ready. All right, Congressman-elect Schilling back in Quincy once again, and you have spent the last couple. Well, first off, congratulations, but secondly, you've spent the last couple of weeks in D.C. or on and off, and so what have you been doing? What have you been going through since you've been elected?
It's I've been telling folks it's like drinking water from a fire hose. We've been extremely busy. We went out for orientation for a full week, and basically what it was, you get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you go in and you go over the different rules and regulations and how to stay in compliance and not do the wrong things. They brought us to the House floor, showed us how to vote, had different meetings here and there. Basically elected a steering committee for the freshman group. We have such a large class. Went out. We got to draw our number for our office. I let my wife draw the number out. She drew number 46, and I said, "Hey, number 5's still in there." You could have drawn that, but we got a really a great office. I'm more into the historic views and the older things, so we picked the Cannon Building. We're on the 5th floor. Peter Roskam's old office. We've got a nice view of the Capitol building, the dome, so you can actually go out. There's a small deck, like a big, huge gutter, and some guys grill out. So when people from Quincy want to come out, I can flip them a hamburger if they like.
Have you you mentioned the some of the ethics with the handbook that Eric Cantor passed out, and I found it interesting that one of the specific things that was in that handbook was make sure you know the Constitution because your constituents may ask you about it, and I thought that was very fitting in light of your election.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. A lot of folks, some people I don't believe have ever read the Constitution. And there are so many. Just to me, it comes across as common sense things to have in there. And but you've got to cover all bases, and tell you, hey, don't go out to eat by yourself. With specific people. If you're a guy, you should go out with another guy or have a joint meeting, and just some things to be protective so that you don't send the wrong signal out. And I think that that's something that people have to really be careful with in these days.
There's been some very important developments just in the last 24 hours as far as committee assignments and where you are going to end up as far as those are concerned.
Yeah, actually, I got a call on my way to Quincy from John Shimkus, and we were seeking out armed services and ag because it's a pretty good match for our district, and he called to let me know that we got both of those, which is huge because we've already got several folks that want to run against us, and the only way to really prove that I can be an effective member is to get on some good solid committees, which both of these are, and then I can show people basically what I'm made of, and just the hard work's getting ready to start here.
And certainly important committee assignments, as far as the Midwest is concerned and the district that you're in.
Yeah, exactly. When you look at our district, the makeup here, with all of the farms, we've got ADM, Tate and Lyle, John Deere, Caterpillar. Tons of places that have a lot to do with ag. And then, for example, armed services, we've got the Rock Island Arsenal, which has been just bleeding jobs for the last 10, 15 years, and no one's really been there to stop that. And one of the big things I think we need to do with our district is market it a little bit better, and that's one of the things we plan on doing.
Talk a little bit about what's going on now in this lame duck session. Are they trying to get every earmark in creation done before the new bunch comes in?
Yeah, the thing I look at with the earmarks that are being pushed through again is, it's either that people just haven't figured out what just happened on November the 2nd, or they just really don't care. And and I think that maybe there's a little bit of both of that going on. The American people spoke pretty loud and clear on November 2nd, and I think that the thing that I believe that's totally different with this election versus 1994, for example, is that the people have woken up and they're not going to go to sleep. And I think that what we've seen this time around is the first part of the wave, and I think the next election we'll see another wave come through, and people that aren't doing what's in the best interest of our country are going to be looking for work.
Have you had any interactions with Democrats that will be your colleagues come January, those that did not get voted out, and what has that been like, if so?
You know, it's been really interesting. I'm one of those people that I consider myself to be a uniter, even though I do stand firm on my beliefs and with the spending and, you know, and having to do some cutting and things like that. But for example, I went up to one of the freshmen from New Orleans. His name was Cedric, and we talked to him for a few minutes. Nice young man, and I just you know, spoke to him for about 5 minutes, and I said, you know, hey, I'm looking forward to working with you. I think that that's the one thing. What we have to do is find that common ground, not give up where we're at on you know, and stay firm on things, but get to work for the country and try to do some things to where it's good for the country rather than just going in and fighting all the time.
Republicans, of course, elected in large quantities this go around in a wave election, and people are expecting them to go to Washington and to do something or to undo some things. What is your feeling as far as the main priorities once you get there? I mean, we heard the things in the course of the election, but what are the things that are coming out of D.C. from the folks that are there now, what they want to do?
A couple of big things that are happening is they do want a proper health care reform. And, you know, one of the things they talked about doing is basically pulling that thing out by the roots and then sending that to the president's desk. And I think everyone out there understands that it's not going to be able to be repealed, but it needs to be defended on their end as to, you know, we're finding out all these different things that are in there that have nothing to do with health care reform. We look at the Bush tax cuts that are expiring in January. You know, that's a big problem. You know, what I like to tell people, Brian, is that, you know, if we go and we raise these taxes on businesses, what's going to happen is they're going to have two choices. You raise the price of your product, which in a downturn economy is a poor idea, or you let someone go. And I'm afraid a lot of people are going to be let go if they decide to raise the taxes on our small businesses.
I believe Dick Durbin was the last congressman we had who had an office, district office in Quincy. What is your district office situation going to look like?
We're going to be pretty unique, I think. We're going to have our main office in Moline, and then right now what we're looking at doing is coming out throughout the district, including Adams County. We want to set up either you know, City Hall or go into courthouses to where as a U.S. Congress member we can go in and not have to pay any rent, so it saves the district money. And then what we can do by doing that, we can give better service to people throughout the entire district. You know, I think what's happened over the course of the last, you know, 10, 20, 30 years is that it's been all about, you know, certain counties in this district. And, you know, the one thing that I said when I started running and told my wife Christy and Terry when we were running is that we're going to serve this entire district and do the best job that we can. And by not going out and finding, you know, lavish offices to where it's really expensive and not being able to get people out into the field, we're going to do it totally different and have people in the field. And when somebody needs something, we're going to be there for them. I mean, that's our job, is to serve people.
We've seen over the last couple of weeks, I mean, you're not even sworn in yet, and already there's people coming out of the woodwork, or I would say that they are probably were already out of the woodwork, but are coming out to basically oppose you in the next election. Thoughts on that, or is that even on your radar at all? I know it's probably on other people's radar, but have you even given that any thought?
You know, I really don't give it much thought, and that's what we kept the campaign up and running, and you know, the campaign will deal with that side of it. But, you know, I find it kind of troubling that, you know, I have not even been sworn in yet, so they have no clue as to how I will govern. So what it tells me is that the people that are already throwing their hats in the ring, it's about DNR, not how someone governs. So, you know, and that's my big thing that I said all along, is that, you know, by my services and working for the people, that's how I stay elected, so we're not too concerned about it.
And you know, you talked about getting getting sworn in, and you talk about people running. But as of right now, we really don't know what district you're gonna be able to run for yet. When will you find out what the new map's gonna look like? And are you concerned about that at all?
You know, we should find out. I think we'll have a firm grip on it probably in May or June, actually. the ideas are already kind of floating around as to how they'll redistrict. So, but, you know, I'm really not too concerned about that, because if you look at the 17th district right now, you know, they can't do too much more to affect us in an adverse way, so.
Anything else, Bob? All right.
All right.
Congressman Schilling.